What is up, everybody? This is Alex Kelly here, live streaming on YouTube and back with another episode of the Furloughed Film Talks podcast. Here with my brother, Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
This is an extra special kind of episode for us. It's been a crazy week. One of our good friends had twins yesterday.
See?
So congrats to him. I don't think he'll have time to listen to this, but hey, he can listen to all.
Plenty of time at like 4 a.m. when he's
True.
feeding the kiddos.
They're not thinking they're going to be out of the hospital until Saturday or Sunday, so he'll have time until then.
Yeah,
so
he's just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, he's sleeping on an air mattress in the hospital room currently, so that's his sleeping arrangement.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Huh.
So thank you guys for listening.
Maybe they would have like nice couches or something.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that to him, but
I can't imagine he's at like a third-rate hospital or anything.
No, but I bet whatever they had is not big enough for him. He is quite a large man.
It's not nice.
He's super tall. It's not like I'm calling him fat. I'm just saying he's tall.
Okay.
What were you thinking, Ryan? So we are back here today on YouTube. If you are listening to this after the fact, through any one of our podcasting or areas, you can check out our live streams every Monday and Thursday nights on YouTube at Furloughed Film Talks channel. Subscribe and you'll get a notification that we have gone live. Also check out our Instagram at Furloughed Film Talks or our Twitter at Furloughed Film. But today has been kind of a crazy day for movie releases. A lot of stuff has gotten delayed, so we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about a Harry Potter reshuffling of the team that oversees it at Warner Brothers. And then we will dive into the documentary Icarus from Brian Fogel that was released on Netflix
A while ago.
Yes, 2017. So we're starting a blast from the past series. I'm visiting things that either directors or actors have done in the past who are now doing something right now that we've just interviewed. And we're just checking out their work to see what they've been up to or what made them famous and gave them the opportunity to be in whatever has just come out.
Right.
But Ryan, we're still in the midst of a pandemic.
That we are.
We have a new president, but that doesn't mean shit has changed. So which one do you want to talk about first? There's 4 movies.
There's 4 that have definitely had release dates change.
4 for sure. The 4 that we're going to talk about, there's the 3 of the 4 for sure have been changed. 1 is more than likely going to be changed.
Okay.
So Ghostbusters, that tickle your fancy?
Sure.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, delayed. That has been delayed from June of this year to November 11th of this year. So not out of 2021, but still been delayed out of what's it called? From its original, spot this summer. So we will not be getting Ghostbusters Afterlife. The kind of reimagining of the Ghostbusters.
You think that would be like an October release, September or October release?
Yeah, so like November.
A Halloween type deal.
Yeah, it's weird that they decided to put it November 11th.
That is weird.
Like right after Halloween.
I don't know. Maybe
because that would have been a lot of merch they could have sold for kids, like Halloween.
Oh, they'll definitely still sell.
Yeah,
a shit ton of it,
but not
for Halloween.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put it in October.
It must be full. I mean, there must not have been a release weekend that they could have put it on.
Well, and that's the problem with.
Or they might think it's actually good, so they want to put it, in a
closer to Christmas.
Yeah.
So you have that, because you could have not only Christmas, but you would have the Thanksgiving break as well for families that are going to want to go out. So you've now positioned it closer to that. Good point, Ryan, with his perfect analysis.
Oh, thank you.
That's why he's here. With one Tom Holland, the video game.
That was supposed to come out this year?
Yes, it was supposed to come out in July.
Wow. Tom Holland's going to have...
But not anymore, because that got delayed.
Delayed!
11th, 2022.
Shit!
Yes, so that is one where you just said they might think it's good. Kind of scares me that they're putting this in February.
Oh, this movie's not going to be good. I mean, let's be honest.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, come on. It's Tom Holland. Who might be Willy Wonka now.
Percentage of video game...
We could talk about that here in a minute.
What percentage of video game movies are actually good?
supposedly Sonic was pretty good. I never saw that.
Okay.
I saw the scene where they introduced Tails, which I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that took some work though. They
Yeah.
basically redid the whole movie to.
Yeah, because they got but that's like, and we should give them credit because they listened to
The
the
fans.
uproar that happened.
Okay, no, but not Sonic. Can you think of one video game movie you've seen that was actually like really good?
Well, no, but like,
Okay,
I
so,
want to ironically say like the first time that they did Mortal Kombat, just because the like techno song is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
and
if
I
you're
love
like
it.
7 years old, yeah,
It's great.
I liked Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed wasn't terrible. With
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, with Fassbender,
Yeah,
that was
that's
actually
just,
kind
like,
of decent.
That just like didn't land well for some reason. I don't know why it didn't have like. And I'll be perfectly honest. I have not seen it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, but like for some reason it just when it landed it was like meh. So it was kind of weird. Fassbender in the movie, which is why like I think Uncharted could do really well because I think Tom Holland. This might be
It's like big enough character.
Yeah,
actor.
is he more popular than Fassbender was when Uncharted or when?
Oh,
when
undoubtedly, yeah.
So like I think you have some more star power behind it, which is weird to say about Michael Fassbender, but that's I guess where Tom Holland has ascended to.
I mean, Fassbender's like he's never been like a marquee name. He's been like well respected. But he's never been like he's not Spider-Man.
True,
right?
Yeah. He did play Magneto, but it was like after Ian McKellen had played Magneto, so you kind of had a weird like,
and that's like
he's stepping into a role that's already been established.
Not only that, but it's like an ensemble cast where like you're part of like a dozen or so great actors.
And you're basically co-starring with James McAvoy.
Exactly.
So yeah, true. Okay. No, but I think
hey, I mean it could like completely blow us away. It could be amazing, but
who knows?
I doubt it's gonna be.
Yeah,
and that makes sense for the move to February again because of the like entire year is going to be slam packed with releases.
Yeah, and your pessimism is warranted because video game adaptations have just not been good. So it's like, why get our hopes up when the overwhelming evidence is not great? So like our and maybe it'll exceed those very low expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have extremely low expectations for this movie, and like if it's even a C, I'll be impressed.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm just excited because it's Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Anyways, into the last one, the worst one, the one that hurts the most.
Well, that was the second one. Oh, this is the.
So Ghostbusters were the first one.
This is the third.
Yes.
Actual finalized.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple others that I didn't include because they're like kids movies, like Peter Rabbit 2 got delayed, whatever, and Cinderella got delayed.
What's that movie with like it's animated where like everyone's on their phones and they go on a road trip?
Yes, that got sold.
Yeah, it's going to be on Netflix now.
Yes, and they changed the name of it. That was one of the movies that was in this little article that I was reading.
You have to look it up. I mean,
no, it's just kind of funny to me that they like.
It's right there.
Boop, 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 boop. The Mitchells versus the Machines.
What was it?
Connected, I think is what it was called.
Huh.
The animation in that looks kind of cool.
It's just weird how like it just disappeared entirely. Because we literally saw a trailer for it in theaters when we saw
Upward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
just nowhere.
Just disappeared.
Well, yeah, because
of no news.
Well, they've sold it to Netflix.
Right.
Yeah, so now it's Netflix's Bay, which in they change. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Did they say how much they paid for it?
Let's check. Let's do a little.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, let's take
$10 million.
Oh, I'm not looking.
Okay.
60 million.
No way. There's no fucking possible way.
I might have read that.
I'll go all the way up to like 20 million. Do they have it? Okay. What is it?
So I'm going to read this. This is all from Deadline. The pick jumped around the release calendar during the pandemic with an opening date last of October 23rd before Sony undated it. After Sony saw the lackluster grosses on Tenet last September, they pushed Connected to the spring. I understand that Netflix pursued the movie and paid well north of $110 million for the film for global rights sans China.
What the fuck?
North of 110 million. That is insane.
That's absurd.
Pick follows an everyday family struggle to relate while technology rises up around the world when Katie Mitchell, Abby Jacobson, a creative outsider, is accepted into the film school of her dreams. Her plans to meet her people at college are upended when her nature-loving dad, Rick...
When COVID strikes.
Yeah, when her nature-loving dad, Rick, Danny McBride, determines the whole family should drive Katie to school together and bond as a family one last time. It's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller movie, who are very well known. They're pretty funny dudes. Eric Andre voices somebody, Olivia Colman.
There's so much wrong with this. First off, the fact that Danny McBride's in a children's movie.
Maya Rudolph as well. Eric Andre is also in a children's
Who's Maya Rudolph?
She played Kamala Harris on SNL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Eric Andre show on comedies on Adult Swim.
Literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god, I'll show you some clips later. They're hilarious. He's crazy. He's not a kid's.
Anyways, 110
not a kid's
million.
show.
That's
nuts. That's
dude.
insane. All right, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up. We get to have that sweet. What the hell? That's just like Netflix literally just throwing money around.
Yeah, I mean, literally. Okay, so
Good for them.
What's the last one? What's the third and final one?
James Bond delayed.
I don't know if to be happy or sad about this.
I mean, you're sad because we're not getting James Bond.
Yeah, but then again, like I've said on previous episodes, James Bond should come out in November.
And they're still screwing you.
I know. It's
October 8th, 2021
is
when No Time to Die will finally come out. The latest Bond movie, the assumed last Daniel Craig Bond movie will now come out on October 8th, 2021. The one that I'm including in this list, but they have not officially said it yet, is Black Widow. There are rumors abound now that it is going to get pushed.
This will an April release, right?
May.
Okay.
So, I mean, everything that there's putting out now is like it's not going to stay in May. It's going to get pushed at some point.
I'd be like way unhappier about that happening. Because then that pushes everything, all other Marvel movies back.
Yeah, it pushes everything back. It completely, it does exactly what has been happening the last, 10 months now. Everything just gets shoved back. And so now we're just, we're fortunate that there's the Disney Plus shows and those don't have to get pushed whatsoever. But we don't get Black Widow, which we've been waiting forever now. Shang-Chi, which I'm pretty excited about. Eternals, which is a loaded cast. Like everything just gets pushed back
In
even
Spider-Man.
more. Yeah, and Spider-Man. So which Spider-Man's going to be probably one of the craziest, not only MCU movies, but comic book movies we've ever seen. So
yeah,
the fact that could get pushed is dude, just stop.
I'm super what caused all this all of a sudden? Why are we getting a new round of delays? Are people just really worried about the second strain that is going around? And
yeah, I bet you I bet you a COVID cocktail of there's all these different variants out there now. There's, especially here in the United States, there's not, the vaccine rollout has been horrendous so far.
Yeah.
I saw a report today that we are not tracking properly how many vaccines are going bad in laboratories or in pharmacies. So
that's great.
Not only do we not have enough, we don't even know how many of the ones that we do have in places are going bad and we're having to throw out. So that's not being tracked. What else could be a fucking problem right now?
Well, anyways,
but I think, they're looking at the theater landscape now and they're saying, let's just keep pushing this ish back and figure it out. But AMC's screwed. AMC is absolutely screwed. I don't see how they make it past the freaking summer.
I don't know. I mean, they've been able to cut their like it did last this long. Like they'll be able to last until maybe start coming out pretty regularly.
Yeah, I mean,
because they literally have like 3 people working every fucking theater. Like they're only having show times after 4 o'clock or something.
Yeah, they've been really smart about the like don't play anything before 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. Tenet's literally still in a few theaters in the Metroplex.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I need to tell my assistant principal that then, because he just watched it for the first time this past weekend.
Okay.
At home, and he was like, "I'm really mad I didn't see this in theaters." I was like,
"Dude, I listened to this crazy fucking podcast yesterday that was all about how Tenet was like a metaphor for time travel, and how like Christopher Nolan was like slyly revealing to the world that like time travel is real and like all this Illuminati shit."
Oh my god,
it's fucking great, dude.
Is it one of your QAnon research shows?
It's a QAnon adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make that abundantly clear that you're not QAnon. You're just like,
no,
I just love to laugh at these.
I literally love to like. It's like watching a good like fiction movie. I mean, no one can come up with crazier and more like wackier shit than these QAnon people. I listened to another one today that was like, yeah, all the congressmen and women were like taken into the tunnels, and because like the Catholic cabal like controls the tunnels under Washington D.C., their plan was to like get all the leadership out of D.C. and then they're gonna like bomb the ever living fuck out of the Capitol building, but because like their guides couldn't like something because like the night before their guides were arrested, so the Congress people couldn't find their way out of the tunnel, so they had to go back to the Capitol, and that like prevented all this crazy shit from happening. Dude, I'm telling you what, like
I love how they they're like twisting out of knots of like the actual reality. They're like, no, this is like why it didn't happen, but this will happen.
Like, yeah. There's
oh my god, dude!
It's pure fucking gold. Like,
yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. When they're not, breaking into the Capitol, it's hilarious.
Right?
It's objectively hilarious.
But anyways,
but
did you see that? What Christopher Nolan said?
Yes, that's what I was about to say to you.
Okay,
yeah, because that was in a Wall Street Journal article that was talking about all the things happening with Hollywood, and it was the HBO Max decision. And then, like, just for some fucking reason, like literally halfway through the article, they just threw this guy is like, "Yeah, I've been hearing that he's not going to work with Warner Brothers anymore," and it's like that should have been the headline, bud. Like,
yeah,
that's a pretty big headline.
I'm calling bullshit on this though. To say that like Christopher Nolan will never make another movie with Warner Brothers, I think is like complete fantasy. In like 2 or 3 years, he's definitely going to make a Warner Brothers movie.
Why would he not try to shop his services to other studios?
Well, because if he goes to what other studios could he go to? Right, he could go to Disney.
Some people were saying Paramount, Sony, Apple.
So which of those studios are going to give him give him basically a complete blank check to do a completely original story after Tenet like basically lost Warner Brothers God knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars?
I will answer your question after I ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you not think the other studios will give him kind of a mulligan, knowing that Tenet didn't do well because of COVID? And is there not a thought that, if it had been normal times, Tenet would have grossed over $1 billion?
No, I think they will. But what I'm saying is like,
I'm
sure he can get a deal with another studio on the back of Tenet, but he's not going to get what he had at Warner Brothers.
Okay, so let me answer your question then. I don't know if Paramount will. I think Disney would.
Yeah, but he's not going to want to make a movie with Disney because there's going to be so many restrictions on what he can actually do.
Well, yeah,
He's
because
not going to have he's not going to have a blank canvas if he goes and makes a Disney film.
But that's my point. And that's what I was about to say. Is like he would have to walk in, or Disney and him would have to sit down, and he would basically have to say, or he would say, "I want full creative control, all the money, and you guys literally can't say shit.
Right.
You have to let me go off and basically play in my sandbox with $300 million." And they would have to say yes. And I don't know if they would say yes.
Disney definitely wouldn't.
Okay.
I think Sony would. Paramount would.
Well, the thing about Paramount, and I don't, and I'm again, the weekly I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know if Paramount is in a financial place where they could do that. So like,
I have no idea.
I think Sony is. I think Sony would definitely pay for that. And then like, I mean, would you throw in an Apple or a Netflix or
that's like literally what I was just thinking. Like, if anything makes sense, it would make sense that either Amazon or Netflix.
Which it would be something where they would have to agree to something that would not even be a conversation with places like Paramount, Warner Brothers, Disney, which is this has to be in theaters.
Right.
For at least a month or so.
Would it not be like completely hypocritical of him to like lose his shit and refuse to do another movie with Warner Brothers and then sign a deal with a streaming service?
Absolutely. It'd be the most hypocritical shit in the world.
I don't see that happening.
Neither do I. But like that's the thing. Like he's kind of painted himself into a corner where like the people with the most money and the least fucks to give when it comes to giving creative people license to whatever the hell they want to do, he's basically said like, I don't want to work with them.
Yeah. So knowing Christopher Nolan though, like I wouldn't put it past him to say, fuck like all conventional studios. I'm going to go with, some upstart investor who has a small independent studio. We'll make a film for $50 million. And like, I mean, he started out making films for not that much money.
Yeah,
like,
no, I would love
before
that.
Batman Begins, like his films weren't over $100 million to produce. So I could see for his next film him saying like, "Hey, let's just go back to basics. Because I don't have to deal with all the bullshit of a major studio."
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about actors wanting to like work with this guy. Like big name people are going to want to work with him anyway.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
what
stage studio he's at.
Does Warner Brothers own IMAX? Or like can all studios use IMAX?
I think any studio can use IMAX.
That's the only thing I could see being like a sticking point for him.
Is he'd have to be able to use IMAX?
Yeah, because like he just got honey dicked by IMAX.
Who owns IMAX? Wanda?
Okay, so it's not Warner Brothers.
No, it's IMAX Corporation.
Yeah, okay, so it's open to all like filmmakers.
Yeah,
I think Warner Brothers is just like kind of on the cutting edge of using it.
Yeah,
it's like you never see a Disney movie in IMAX.
No, they use like their own stuff. Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
So,
no.
Anyways, interesting to talk about.
Yeah, it's just like all of this has completely just shaken up everything, and so it's just like, what the hell are we doing nowadays? You want to talk about Willy Wonka?
Sure,
that's a thing. Willy Wonka, a prequel movie for some whatever.
Money. That's the only reason.
Yeah, 2023 is when I believe that will be coming out. Doesn't really matter. It's a couple years away. The biggest thing that matters is who is potentially going to be playing the Jolly Chocolate Maker. I didn't have a good nickname for this dude.
Dude, the only thing we should talk about is how this should be a prequel story about how the grandparents ended up in that fucking bed.
You in the bed, man.
That's the most mysterious part.
Didn't they
of the whole fucking movie?
How long had they been in the bed for?
I don't know, but like
it was a ridiculously long time.
Why are they so poor? Why do the grandparents live in the fucking bed? What that's what you need to know. I don't give a fuck how this like uber rich chocolate maker got his start.
You will if it's Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet.
Not really.
You'll see it. That's
probably
exactly.
I don't give a fuck? Like,
so those are the two that are potentially going to be Willy Wonka and a prequel.
who would
Willy
you
Wonka.
prefer
In that?
Yeah.
Chalamet.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Chalamet, like, he has that like mysterious
Goofiness.
Well, I was gonna say mysterious vibe.
Sort of. Kind of.
What goofiness do you have about Timothy Chalamet?
I don't know, him fucking a peach and Call Me by Your Name.
That
would seem pretty goofy to me.
That as well. I was gonna say Tom Holland is a little bit more goofy than
Plus, like
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet is pretty good in SNL.
Dude, he was so funny. Yeah, he's pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah, talking a lot about Tom Holland today. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. A lot of people lost their shit when this news got announced, and I was kind of like, interesting.
It seems so odd. Like,
yeah, it's an IP that people know, and you're going to throw a big name actor in there. Yeah, it's a money grab for sure.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Real quick, let's do some shameless self-promotion again. This Sunday, the first trailer for Godzilla versus Kong is going to come out.
Okay.
And I've promised on the tweeters we will have a reaction video to the trailer. So either Sunday or Monday, come back to the channel and we will have uploaded our reaction to that trailer of Godzilla versus Kong, which actually got moved up. It's going to be March 26th in theaters and on HBO Max.
They must have heard us
At
bitch
your
about
home.
them not having a trailer out.
Yeah, a lot of people were freaking out about it. But
Really?
Yeah, but we were
Is it-
definitely bitching about it too.
So they put one out pretty stat.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, Furloughed is getting real pissed.
Who cares?
That's my interpretation of what happened at Warner Brothers.
Okay, so we're doing a reaction video
Yes.
on Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
What was?
No, I'm wondering like when this trailer is supposed to come out on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, when they said Sunday, I immediately assumed like,
One of the playoff games.
yeah, one of the football games. So I don't know, like, but it doesn't like you would have. I would have thought if that was the case that they would have said like during the blah 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 in the
Right.
tweet, but like nowhere in there did it.
Hopefully,
say
it just
that.
comes out at 12:01 on YouTube.
That'd be sick.
That'd be really nice.
So yeah, cool.
Alrighty.
Godzilla versus Kong, Sunday or Monday. Check out our live reaction video and then subscribe to the YouTube channels. Thank you, sirs. But real fast, I wanted to talk about this because I found it interesting and I think it kind of portends, I don't know if that's a real word.
It is.
It is cool. To the future of what Harry Potter movies and shows can be. Where'd it go? That's Antifa.
If you go to antifa.com, it redirects to whitehouse.gov.
Yeah, it's a terrible
fact.
Terrible look. Warner Brothers appoints Tom Ascham to oversee Harry Potter franchise. So they have a team at Warner Brothers who oversees what the studios does with Harry Potter movies and also the Wizarding World properties.
Okay.
And so this new guy has been brought in. They've started to kind of mix up what they do there. And there is one quote in here that made me think, this new management of the franchise highlights its enormous importance to Warner Brothers and the myriad opportunities we see for continuing to engage and delight fans of all ages across the globe. I know that's probably just executive talk, but the fact that he's used the word myriad opportunities, they already have HBO Max. This is a floundering IP for them that used to generate a buttload of money for them.
Yes.
I think at some point within the next couple of years, we are going to get some form of a Harry Potter series on HBO Max.
That would be fucking awesome.
That is my
like. I would so much rather get like some form of TV series or like HBO Max series rather than like them just rebooting the entire like main story film again, right? Like just redoing the first 8 movies like they did.
And I think the easiest way that you do that, there's 2 easy ways really. You do either the Marauders, you do Ramus, James Potter.
Yeah, almost like a prequel type deal.
Yeah, you do those, and then fucking Scabbers, whatever the hell his name was. You do those 4 in their years at Hogwarts, and you kind of get to see that. And then you have, because everybody wants to see them do that, and you can almost do it to where it's all about how James and Sirius have to take care of Lupin, who's going through the fact that he's a freaking werewolf.
Yeah, he turned into a werewolf every month.
Like, and having them have to kind of keep that under wraps and being great friends and the mystery and all of that at the school.
Right.
And you could almost have Snape be, because you're going to have this weird butting of heads with these two, with James, Sirius, and Lupin and Snape. You make it out to where they don't really hate Snape. They just are mad at him and are antagonistic with him because he's so interested in what's going on with Lupin, and he's basically trying to out Lupin. So that's the conflict that you have between
Plus,
the two.
there's like the romantic triangle between James, Snape, and Lily.
So like you have a perfect story right there that could be episodic across 2 to 3 seasons. And it doesn't even have to be the same like structure of what the Harry Potter movies did.
Harry Potter has like the perfect setup, a lot like Star Wars, where she created this entire like ecosystem or world that not only stretches back like a century in the main story, but also like it really stretches back many centuries if you think about the entire like history of the Ministry of Magic and like the relationship between magic folk and muggles and whatnot. And you know, like you could do a series on the Marauders, you could do a series on the first Wizarding War, right? You could do, you know, we got flashbacks to that, but like you could do a whole series just on them fighting Voldemort the first time, right?
Oh yeah, like Order of the Phoenix type of thing, the first time around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could go back and do, you know, a series on when what's his name, who turned into Voldemort, Tom Riddle turned into Voldemort. You could go back and like show centuries ago when they founded Hogwarts.
I was literally about to say,
when they founded the Ministry of Magic. Like there's like,
and like the fallout of like when Slytherin like had his falling out with the other house.
Right. Yeah. Like just off the top of my head, I can think of like 6 different series they could do. Right.
And the other one that I was thinking about is you have the one where Snape becomes a double agent.
Right. Like to kind of flesh that out a little bit more.
You have him leave Hogwarts. You then have him go off, and then Dumbledore kind of gets him to come in, and you see how he gets entrenched with Voldemort, and you see that him become a Death Eater and all that different stuff happen. You do that, that'd be insanely cool too.
You could do a series even about like the other schools. Like you could do one about the gorgeous French ladies,
Beauxbatons.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the
Durmstrang.
The possibilities are endless. You could do a fucking Quidditch, like. You know,
I have an interesting idea for the Quidditch one, and I want to run this by you live on YouTube.
Okay.
And tell me if this is stupid or not. I know you're going to be honest with me. Where do the books end? Right? Like, not like they obviously jump forward to like present time.
Yeah.
But like, where do they really end? You know, when the war is over. Like the war is over, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that second Wizarding War is over. That had to affect a lot of people in the Wizarding, you know, universe.
I don't know, because like the second one wasn't like as overt as the first one was, right? Like no one really understood what was going on, and like everyone thought like Voldemort was coming back in the background, but there wasn't like it wasn't overtly and like in the open fought like it was in the first war, right?
Yeah, but
so I don't know like how much it really.
But they had them like overtake Hogwarts. Like Hogwarts was under like Voldemort's rule type of thing.
Yeah, but that was like the finale, right? That was like.
Yeah, I thought like they had really overtaken the Wizarding, you know, world.
I'm just saying, like it's a shorter amount of time.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Not as like wide reaching as the first war was. But yeah, I mean, I get what.
Okay, so
what were you driving to?
So a lot of people probably knew people that were, you know, either died while Voldemort was in reign or died at the war. So you've got all these people, like, a lot of loss, and then people are kind of coming out of that, and there needs to be hope in this different thing.
Mm-hmm.
You basically do it to where it's either a month or two after that war ends and everybody's still kind of picking up the pieces, and you focus in on like two Quidditch players or one Quidditch player who has to go from like either having been in that war or having been around that, having been in Hogwarts or something like that. And it's all about, some Quidditch team like getting ready to go back to like the real world and going back to playing Quidditch and going back to, everything getting normal and using that sport because it was such a huge thing in the wizarding world to kind of bring everybody back together.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, especially be cool if like they took a 7th-year student and like he gets whatever it is, like drafted by the Quidditch team.
Yeah.
And he has to like go from, like every Harry Potter book ever. It starts in the summer and like, the Quidditch season starts in the fall, like that. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Anything they do with fucking Quidditch would be awesome.
And the reason I thought about that is I think it would work really well because it could, in a weird type of way, connect back to what we're kind of going through is, as we get, pray to God, the pandemic, a little bit more under control, we do look to sports for kind of a connecting type of deal. So really, like we're going to go tomorrow, we're going to go to a Stars game. Like it is something that we can look forward to. And as a community come together, if you can do it from that angle of Quidditch and right after an event that most even not huge Harry Potter fans know about, that event that people know about, but then go into an area of the timeline of Harry Potter that not a lot of people really know anything about. So it's fresh area, it's fresh content, and you can kind of go from there. That was my idea.
It'd be cool.
So
anyways, hopefully
I hope they just fucking do something, but I him saying that makes me excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a shame that like the last movie came out in 2011. So in 10 years, we've gotten a grand total of 2 movies. And
oh yeah, I keep forgetting this is behind me.
Movies that are completely story-wise kind of like irrelevant in the grand scheme of the Harry Potter story.
Yeah,
right. Like sure, you have McGonagall and you have Dumbledore and like like sure, those characters are in it, but it has nothing to do with the actual story of Harry Potter.
McGonagall shouldn't have been in the movie because technically in the timeline she would not have been alive at that point.
I know,
but I digress.
Yeah, they even retconned like the original Harry Potter story, like
which that gets me to an interesting thing and this is another thing that this news brings up is at some point, and I need to go back and look at if it's available, look at whatever contract they have with her, Warner Brothers and J.K. Rowling. At some point, Warner Brothers is going to have to go to her and basically say, hey, we're taking this. We're going to start to basically do all this stuff and we'll come to you for some input and some insight on certain things, but they need to get a real team of screenwriters in there to start to flesh out what they do with the rest of this IP.
Yeah.
Because when you take something, and this is something that Game of Thrones had a problem
that honestly might be the issue. Like if she's just not willing to go control of it.
She's not. I don't think she is.
Then she's not going to like allow them to do that.
But that's my point. Like if there's something in that contract where they can kind of get around that, like Warner Brothers is going to have to do the nuclear option of basically saying like, no, we've paid for these rights. We've paid for these characters. We'll come up with our own characters.
Like you're just like talking out of your ass now, though. Like,
I am. I know, but
there's probably. I mean, if she had a like barely reputable lawyer, like there's no fucking chance they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean,
what I would hope that at some point, like especially if they came to her with, hey, this guy wrote a whole, first season of a Marauder show, let's say. And she's like, no, a guy didn't write it. And they're like, cool. Here's all these fans who want it. You're going to say that we can't, you don't want to like edit this a little bit and put your name on it and say like, hey, here's a Marauder show because hey, it's going to be a lot of money for you, bro. You're going to say no to that and piss off your fans even more, or do you want to give them some goodwill because you're being kind of transphobic and saying some shit that's whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like at some point, somebody kind of needs to go to her and be like, "Hey, chill the fuck out."
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking like to expect her to like act any differently than she has over the past like 20 years is
You're right. Yeah.
like just her track
Naive.
record is fucking steadfast. Like, you know, and she's apparently just hard ass to work with. So
Yeah, and she's the type of person, and this is.
I mean, hopefully they can work something out. Like, hopefully they can, you know, come to some agreement where they're like, hey, well, you know, we're gonna do the screenwriting. You can have your input. Like, I just don't know what it would take for, you know, for them to, and like, why would she? Honestly, like, does she really want to get dicked down like, you know, George Lucas has? Like, if you were in her shoes, like, and you care more about.
Okay, so yes, George Lucas was screwed over, but like George Lucas was also given $4 billion for his like IP. So like, I feel kind of bad, but I don't feel kind of bad. Whereas like J.K. Rowling,
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, to give up complete control, like she would obviously have to be compensated in some fashion.
Yes.
Like, why, if you were in her shoes, why would you do that? Why would you like
not be compensated?
No,
Or...
why would you give up like?
Oh, I see.
You're already like a billionaire a couple times over.
Yeah,
why would you?
I don't know. Yeah, she wouldn't, especially if she's been this steadfast about not wanting anything changed whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting conversation to have, and I think we're both passionate about it because we love the series, and it's just kind of like,
yeah, I wish
this kind of sucks.
I wish they could do something, but I don't.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see, and kind of see what happens with this next. And I think I'll wrap it up on this. I think the biggest linchpin, I think we will be able to tell where this is going to go when that third Fantastic Beasts movie comes out. If that movie is trash and she was the main screenwriter behind it, along with like the people that have been in this for a long time, Steve Kloves and some other people that help screenwrite this stuff. If it's trash and it's those people again, and it's very clearly the screenwriting, and there's a lot of the same mistakes that we've had the last 3 movies and throughout her like basically retconning shit left and right, at that point, Warner Brothers has 2 options: shut it all down and basically throw it in the closet forever, which they're not going to do because it has the potential to make them a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or completely overhaul this entire thing and figure out how to like best move this forward.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. So, no, it's interesting. I can't wait. I hope they figure it the fuck out. Say better. Review time. Blast from the past. I'm gonna get some audio done for this. I'm gonna get some sounds and some beats for our different segments we have now.
Okay.
Trailer Park Roundup should just be like.
We need some like logos too. Like
yes.
Anyways, you give your like synopsis. We'll be back.
Go in the bathroom.
Yeah, sure.
Where you?
Oh.
So we are now doing our review of the documentary on Netflix that came out in 2017 from a documentarian named Brian Fogel. It is called Icarus. We are reviewing this because Brian Fogel just had a documentary that came out called The Dissident. We reviewed that a couple episodes ago about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. But he first directed this movie called Icarus, which won him an Academy Award for Best Documentary. And it is very clear why he won it. It is a truly incredible documentary. But the documentary is about the Russian doping scandal back in the mid-2010s. It was really based around the fact that, they had the, I think it was was it Winter Games? I can just look and it would tell me. While investigating 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. They were basically able to orchestrate this wide-ranging conspiracy to switch out the urine and not show that they were doping all of their freaking athletes. But Brian Fogel was trying to show that doping was super easy within amateur cycling. He got hooked up with this scientist who was the head of the laboratory for the Russian Federation, and then found out that this went wide ranging throughout the Russian athletic world. And you just see it in real time what happened when all of this information started to come out, all the way to Putin basically having somebody killed. So,
Who?
the other scientist who was like,
Oh,
Russian.
yes.
Yes. So he gets,
Putin gets a lot of people killed. It's hard to keep track.
but they don't say he's like, well, the Russian dude that he knows basically says, yeah, they had him killed.
He had a heart attack.
Yeah, but like all the news is like, heart attack, but he had no heart issues. So crazy.
Happen to anyone.
Yeah. So I've explained the movie, Ryan, Icarus. This was my first time seeing it. You'd had already seen it.
Yep.
I was truly blown away by this movie, and it starts out very differently than you're expecting because it was originally supposed to just be about him trying to show that doping could be very easily done.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it takes a wide right turn for the not the best of reasons, but for the best results. And it's very interesting seeing it evolve throughout that first 20 to 30 minutes as this very lovable dude who was cheating the Olympics.
It was helping the Russians cheat in the Olympics, multiple Olympics.
Grigory Rodchenkov. I'm not saying that right, but that is the biggest thing that I kind of grappled with this movie is that dude was very likable, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm just like, he did cheat a lot. Like,
you also have to remember, like, he had a suicide attempt.
Oh God, yeah.
And then he was put
That's the crazy
into
part.
He was put into a Russian mental institute.
Yeah.
And the only way they let him out of the mental institute was basically to say, like, hey, you're going to go to London because, like, the London Olympic Committee is, like, looking for you.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're just going to do what we say.
Yep.
Pretty much. So, like, you know, in Russia, like, shit's way different. So
I know, but like, that was what was in my head, and I definitely had those thoughts of like, yeah, he probably was being pressured into doing this shit, but
yeah, I mean, it was either like you do this or you don't have a job and you're destitute,
and like, we put your entire family in a
we might kill you.
So like, it's just it shows not only the levels that some countries go to dope their athletes and cheat in some of the highest levels of sport, but just it shows the ways that people are able to dope. It shows the exact like procedure and the formula that these athletes are going through. And to me, you when you see sports documentaries, most of the time you see like, oh, this guy did this or this guy did this, and like people are telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
You never see really the behind the scenes of like the day-to-day operation of how people cheated. That part of this I thought was really, really cool.
And then you don't often see like the real-time ramifications of all of this coming out in the public.
Yes.
Because like through the course of the documentary, Kurchenko releases his story to the New York Times after he's like fled Russia, and through him releasing his story and like basically smuggling his computer and his data out of Russia, all the different like WADA and the track and field like organization and the IOC start banning Russia from upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not, first off, it's like, it's not often you see that where like the story is playing out in real time as the documentary is being made, but also like you don't really see, like, I can't think of another documentary where it starts off like he had a very clear like vision for this documentary. It was basically like, hey, I'm going to enter a cycling race, and then the next year I'm going to enter it undoped. The next year I'm going to dope to the fucking teeth.
Yeah, do
and
everything I can
and see what happens, and like have my documentary be an expose on like how this works, how it's done, and how it like what the practical effects are. And then like I can't think of another documentary that in the course of making the documentary, the entire project changed into something else.
Yeah, I can't think of anything like that before.
Like that's why this won the Academy Award, because like he has to be one of the luckiest filmmakers ever to like just literally stumble into the lap of the story. Like he was like the most lucky thing that ever happened to him was that he happened to get in contact with the one person who had all the knowledge on the Russian doping scheme and was willing to help an American dope himself.
Yes.
Like
and literally talk about all of this on camera.
Literally, he just happened to come in contact with the one person in the world who was willing to help him in his doping and had an Academy Award winning story just ready to go.
Yeah, it's so wild to watch that part of it, and then it's equally wild to have to watch Brian Fogel, the director, have to sit down with like the general counsels for all those different like organizations and their reactions to all the information that we have. Like that is probably, to me, it's the greatest scene of the entire thing.
Well, the greatest scene in the documentary is when he's like sitting down with the representatives of the World Anti-Doping Association.
That's what I'm saying. That scene,
right? Yeah, and he's like, he basically is laying out how they themselves completely had the wool like pull over their eyes, like they were completely duped. By the Russians, and he's like has to lay it down in fine detail, and you can just see the realization like set in on them on holy shit, like we got fucked on so hard.
And what did the old lady try to, because she kind of pushed back on some of the information that he was sharing with them, and I don't remember, and it was
she didn't really push back on that. She was just like pushing back on the fact that, you know, like they kind of were to blame, or like they should have responsibility for it. She was like, how do you think we feel? How do you think, like, you know?
Yeah, that's what it was. It just felt, it was, and it was such, and the way that Brian came back, it was just like, well, like, how do you think he feels? Like, what do you?
Well, yeah, it's like this guy put his life on the line to get you this data.
Yeah,
like why would you?
Why are you saying this now? Like, what are you doing, bud?
You could tell everyone else in the room was like, bitch, shut up.
Yeah, just like please stop.
It's not the right take right now.
Let's not make this any worse than it needs to be. I loved this movie. I thought it was a truly incredible documentary. I think I said afterwards, it's the best documentary I think I've ever seen. It's definitely one of the best, and I can absolutely see why it won Best Documentary at the Academy Awards. And I don't even know if it was even close that year, because Jesus Christ, is it just a absolutely
it
wild,
really couldn't have been. I mean,
no. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a short one. It's been out for a couple years. I definitely would, tell people to go check it out. It's still on Netflix. But Ryan, what would you give it on a max Jindo head rating?
I think out of 5 Jindo max heads.
Yes.
So for me, this is a 4.25.
Okay, I'm gonna go 4.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. OJ Made in America won the year before Icarus.
Really?
Yeah, interesting.
Have you seen that documentary about the baseball steroid, where the filmmaker had all the real life people be children? We watched that together, right?
Yeah, that was crazy too. Yeah. That was a fun one. No, but definitely check this out. It gives such a great, not depiction, but just accounting of what happened.
Right.
And if you
and it's like it's not only a great story in of itself, but it's also like Brian Vogel, super fun to watch.
Yeah.
However you say his name,
Gregory
is like absolutely lovable.
Yeah.
Like, did you touch on the fact that he's now
in witness protection?
He's in U.S. witness protection and completely isolated because of this. But yeah, great story and great presentation of the story.
And if you're a sports fan, if you like sports at all, like us,
or if you just hate Russia,
that too. Please don't kill us. You've got the Star shirt on. I've got Conway on. We love sports. If you're a sports fan, definitely check this out.
Yeah, for sure.
You will find this interesting as hell. And it should not have taken me.
Definitely check out both of Brian Vogel's documentaries, because
yes,
Icarus is clearly a masterpiece of documentary making, but The Dissident is really, really good as well.
Yeah, it's crazy too. But Ryan,
and check out our review of The Dissident, episode 69. I think
that was 69. Yeah, so this has been a good one. A little bit of a late one.
Yeah, we need to start doing these earlier, bro.
Yes, we do.
Stop scheduling shit.
I did not schedule this one tonight, Ryan. I'm sorry.
You agreed to it.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
If somebody says, hey, I'm not saying that. So everybody, thank you for listening to this episode. We will be keeping you guys, whoever listens to this, updated on any more delays that come up in the movie release schedule. We pray to God that it doesn't happen anymore, but who knows? Cool.
Yeah, but look forward to our
Godzilla versus Kong.
And what comes out tomorrow, Alex?
WandaVision!
Yeah, episode 3 of WandaVision
review
incoming.
So that will be tomorrow. Episode 3. We'll hopefully get. This is going to be the 70s this time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
In color.
Yes. Are we going to watch that when we get back from the game, I guess? Or
we'll see.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But yes, that comes out tomorrow. So check that out here very soon. Everybody check out the Furloughed Film Talks Instagram at Furloughed Film Talks, Twitter at Furloughed Film. Tell 3 of your friends to check out the show. We're going to be trying to interact more. We're definitely getting merch soon. We've
been saying that for 6 months.
We do, but we have a plan now. We don't. Yeah. I do. I have a set plan. We're going to figure this out. So
okay.
I've told you what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody at home, thank you guys for listening. Stay safe. And we will see you at our next episode.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.